They reached the remains of the four corners of the old United States, and in those cavernous ruins they heard screams echoing off the stone walls. George was the first to reach the source of the screams, followed by Rista, with the Flannel Ronin in tow. A group of outskirt cannibals surrounded two topless women. The screams came mostly from the woman with the long red hair, while the shorter brunette shouted at her captors. Two other men, one of which was a dog skull, were tied back to a pillar. Another man was tied to a rotating spit in the center, burning alive. But the peculiar thing was that he did not scream in pain. He was growling in anger.
This is bad. How much can you see?
Everything. You go high, I'll go low. George, focus on the prisoners. Rista leapt off the edge of the cliff, sword first, slicing through the first Outlander. Without moving a step, he twisted his blade backwards to cut through the second Outlander, charging from behind. The Flannel Ronin rode George into the fray, jumping off him into the center of the Outlanders. He got low, balancing his body with his left hand, kicking in a circular motion while slashing through the Outlanders in a pinwheel of death. George pounced on the fire-wielding Outlander that guarded the two women, tearing into his throat with his fangs, then biting through the ropes to set the captives free. Next, the saber-toothed tabby grabbed the large man on the spit by the collar, flinging him onto the dirt ground to safety. The two men were startled at first to see the large cat with blood across its mouth, but gave a huge sigh of relief when the beast nonchalantly tore apart the ropes binding them with a wave of its paw. Every Outlander lay lifeless while their prisoners were freed. Bushy was the first to speak.
You guys didn't free us to kill us, did you?
No.
Well, thank you so much. Right, everybody? From the bottom of my heart.
Delphine screamed, then fainted into Vesper's arms.
Can we get out of here already? Any chance you happen to be going east?
Yes.
We're headed to Haven City. We'll gladly give you a ride east in exchange for further protection.
The Ronins and Cat were on the road, in a field Winnebago with the 5 strangers. Introductions were made, with the 2 warriors remaining silent upon finding out the 2 men were the princes of the West. They fought the urge to murder these royals and take this vehicle to the capital of the East, but this was not the way of the Neo-Samurai.
If you 3 hadn't stepped in, woo, that's it. It would have been over. It's a crazy thing to be rescued. I think it's underrated. Quite exhilarating, right, everyone? Of course, we wouldn't need to be rescued if Cisco remembered to pack our stash of weapons.
Anyone else hungry?
I could eat. That's not a bad idea, but I don't know where to go.
The Flannel Ronin squinted, using his master's sight to see into the distance.
Diner ahead, 15 miles. Not gonna ask you how you know that. I'm just gonna go.
The Winnebago sped down the abandoned highway. Unbeknownst to them that Denver Max's blood-red, armor-plated town car was not too far behind.
Can you pick it up? You're driving like a senior citizen.
My driving is fine.
How about we switch off, and I can show you how mistaken you are?
No one drives his car but me.
Then pray I don't kill you after this nap you're forcing me into.
The Winnebago reached the diner at sunrise. Delphine and Vesper were the first to run out of the car, followed by Francisco and Sig. The Ronins started their exit when they were stopped by Bushy.
Hold on, fellas. I need to show you something.
Rista and the Flannel Ronin sat across from each other, arms folded, while George lay on the floor, as Bushy pulled a TV VCR from the ceiling of the Winnebago, turned it on, and slammed a tape inside.
Now, my friends you met, they're good people. I love them to death. But this film, this is really what I'm asking you to swear to protect.
He pressed play. It was meaningless to Rista, but the Flannel Ronin quickly went from bored and confused to amazed. The diner was run down, with old decaying wood and white cracked tiles that had seen better days. Unlike many establishments along the outskirts, this one actually observed the no entertainment laws. There was no music. The only sounds were the creaks in the foundation. Delphine, Vesper, and Sig were seated at the booth nearest to the entrance of the diner.
I want to go home. 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 We can't. We're wanted criminals. My parents are the Duke and Duchess of Washington. They can work something out.
Even for me?
No, but we'll drop you off somewhere. And what? We don't have a car. Then we just keep running and we keep going until we get back home. We'll just be attacked by more Outlanders. Then you think of a way to get us out of here because I'm losing my mind.
The front doors creaked open, announcing the arrival of the two men. One short and stout, wearing a denim jacket. The taller one wore a long gray trench coat while wielding a giant axe. They strolled in, nodded at the odd group in the nearest booth as they approached the bar in the center of the diner, where Jojo the waitress had been resting her eyes. She snapped awake at the sound of the squeaking boots.
Welcome to Dusty's. Sit wherever you'd like. I'm hitting the head. Just get me a coffee. Sure thing, sugar.
Denver Max took the menu and rifled through it. Delphine looked at him from afar.
This is our chance. What? Just shut up and follow me slowly.
The three quietly got up from their booth. Delphine headed for the man at the counter. Tearing the pistol from his holster, Denver Max held his hands up. Can I help you, little lady?
Give me your car keys.
Can't do that, I'm afraid. No one could drive my car but me. Delphine shot Denver Max below the chest. He fell face forward, screaming in agony.
Will one of you get his keys? Down. Hurry it up!
Vesper ran to the fallen man, searching his body for his keys.
I'm very sorry, mister.
She found the keys and threw them to Delphine. Sig stayed behind in shock. The two women ran out the diner, headed to the blood-red car, and hopped inside. When Delphine put the keys in the ignition, a thumbprint scanner went off. Perplexed, Delphine put her thumb on the plate, and the Buick exploded. Denver Max bled out on the tile, heaving with a smile on his face. No one drives my car but me. Lumberjack ran out of the bathroom. He saw a dog skull standing over Denver Max, who lay dead on the floor in a pool of blood, while outside, the car was in flames. Francisco had been smoking a rolled cigarette when Delphine and Vesper ran out from the diner into the car and exploded. For the first time in a long time, Francisco felt something. A lot of things. Shock, terror, rage, and grief, to name a few. He had no idea what to do but run inside the diner. Francisco burst into the diner. Lumberjack had Sig by the throat, then threw him to the ground and readied his axe. Is that your car out there?
It was my partner's car.
I think your partner's car killed my friends.
I think your friends killed my partner.
Now I'm going to kill you.
You can try.
They charged towards each other, both swinging. Francisco nearly connected a right hook when his right arm was hacked off. Lumberjack assumed the fight was over, but the kid kept moving towards him, ready to go with his left, while blood poured out of his right shoulder. Lumberjack tacked off the left arm. This mattered even less, as Francisco now tried to bite the lawman. Lumberjack kept swinging until he had hacked the lunatic into pieces. Rista hurried into the diner just as Lumberjack finished cutting up Francisco.
Oh, great! Who are you? I am that boy's protector. Of course you are. Oh well, let's get this over with.
He twirled his axe before coming down on the blind Ronin, who blocked the axe with his katana. The clinging and clanging of both weapons was a choir of violence as their owners traded blows, causing sparks. Their duel brought them outside the diner. The fire of the explosion illuminated their brutal shadows. Each weapon was held by the other, until Rista went low, sliding across the ground with his blade, slicing cleanly through Lumberjack's midsection. The lawman fell apart, with fountains of blood coming out each end. Rista used the sleeve of his kimono to wipe his katana clean before putting it back into its sheath. Sig emerged from the diner.
Thank you.
Rista led Sig back to the Winnebago. Sig frantically recounted the horrific events of the diner to Bushy. The prince looked at the dog skull, then both Ronin.
Now if one of you can just kill him, we'll be on our way. What? Look, Sig, it's not like I hate you, but I don't really like you either. And with the others gone, you serve no purpose. Besides, the plane to France only seats one. I was going to leave without you one way or another. But I'm the star of the movie! And tape is forever. You shall live on in Memorex. Now please, gents, Chop chop.
The flannel Ronin nodded at Bushy, then took out his katana. Instead of striking down the dog skull, he slashed the prince's throat.
But why?
He was dishonorable, and I saw your film. You were quite good. Go now. The Ronins, the saber-toothed tabby, and the dog skull actor were on their way to Haven City. You just listened to The Flannel Ronin, Episode 4, The Diners. This audio drama was written, performed, recorded, and edited by Drew Manning. If you enjoyed it, please stay tuned to this channel. Thank you for your time, and have a great one.